Greetings, everyone. I am Tracy Carr. I was getting up here to get to know you as I just express some things. Well, first of all, I am Tracy Carr. Trust the process. I have a new product out, a new podcast called Estrogenix. I have a team that will be coming together and displaying some things about who we are. As you can see, it means to be nourished or to be or produced. So as we go through this moment of nourishment, it's a way of detoxing the things that matter in your life and the things that you go through in life that sometimes you don't understand. And you have to understand that there's a bigger cause, there's a bigger purpose, a bigger plan. It talks about in the Bible. It talks about for I know the plans that I have for you, and this plans to prosper you, not to harm you, which you can find in Jeremiah 29:11. As you go through this process, and as you start walking, sometimes we walk in our will and not the will of God. But always know that God's will, it will be done regardless. Some shape or form, there are individuals that may not even know who God is. Some shape or form, our direction, it will be directed. As far as even knowing the desires of your heart, sometimes we can be put in a position where we're given the desires of our heart, and that's a way sometimes that we'll learn and we'll grow. That our will is not our will, but it always turns back to God's will. So let's get started. So my topic today is I will help you, but I'm not going to hell for it. It could be you, it could be the dog, it could be the cat, it could be life circumstance. I don't care what it is. I will help you all day long, but I ain't going to hell for it. I ain't going to hell. I ain't going to jail. I ain't going to no cell. Whatever you think it might be, I ain't going. I ain't doing it for you. Sometimes people will look at you. Sometimes when you help them, it's as far as constantly being put in a position where if you don't be careful, people start looking at it as a weakness. And when I say a weakness, what happens is they'll go to come to you, and it's financially. They'll come to you sometimes as far as mentally. They'll come to you spiritually. They'll come to you with damaged goods. They'll come to you with their baggage. They'll come with you to you for to affirm them, affirmations. They'll come for love, health, strength. They'll come for sexual transactions. If you understand a part of I will help you, what does that really look like? When you have a heart to help people, once again, sometimes people look at it as a weakness. It doesn't mean necessarily that it is a weakness. It means that you just have a heart that cares for people. And I'm going to tell you something that I've learned. When you talk about a heart that cares for people, think about something. A lot of people have been through these life circumstances. Let's talk about childhood, where you were lacking something. And when you lack something, you try to fill a void. You try to fulfill a need. And sometimes a lot of people who help people, they're fulfilling a need. It makes them feel complete. It makes them feel whole. It makes them feel like, I did something. Sometimes people want to be appreciated. That's why they help. But I always say this: if I'm going to help you, why do I need an explanation? Why do I have to go broadcast it? Even in the Word of God, it tells you that if you help somebody, it's no need for you to go broadcast it. Because if you broadcast it, your intentions are not good. They are just saying that I did it so I can go out and tell people who I really am, or I did that because I have it. And a lot of times, people who do give, they really don't have it. They just have a heart. So when you're dealing with certain things in life, you always got to understand that we give things because we have a heart to do it. Sometimes our heart is saying no, and sometimes we get upset because we don't want to do it, but because of passion that lives inside of us um, is displayed. And sometimes we might come off as hard, we might come off as cold, and it's not that. But even a person that gives, they get tired as well. Sometimes a person that gives, they need, but they're too selfish to just open up their mouth and saying, I need as well. So what do you do when you help somebody, but it's a place where I'm helping you, but I can go to hell for you? You know, when I talk about that, we can go to standards as far as how we're supposed to live for God and how we're supposed to do things, and we live off of the word of God. Sometimes we put ourselves in places and positions that God didn't even desire for us to do, but we did it for ourselves because of the voice. Um, I even think about the lady with the issue of blood, the circumstances that she went through, as far as the bleeding and the things that she went through, as far as the embarrassment, as far as wanting to be loved, as far as wanting somebody. And I had to think about her position. If she was bleeding for so long, what was her real position? People looked at her as an outcast. How many people today, as far as what we do, as far as where do our help come from? We're embarrassed. We are ashamed, guilt. We're dealing with things that have governed us as far as even our childhood. And when I say our childhood, I'm speaking of this. We're still stuck. We're stuck off of the situations that the life circumstances has caused us to become something that we aren't. We have built ourselves up off of the situation and not who we have become. And when I say that, let me break this down for you. So if I'm a 9-year-old, if I'm 10 years old, or even when I was born and I dealt with abuse, and if I deal with rebellion, I'm still going to have some of that character, but I let it define who I am. Knowing that I'm very humble. I have a great heart. I love people. But when those triggers hit, it shifts. How do I walk into that? Because I'm helping someone, and now it has become a trigger. I will help you, but I won't go to hell for you. The difference is this. I'm living a life off of fear. That false evidence that is appearing to be real. And what I'm doing is I'm taking it and I'm putting it into my circumstances. So the love that I have now shifted to the trigger. So now you're seeing the other side. I'm causing myself to go to hell because of my behavior. How do I trust that process? Well, first of all, in that process, you don't allow the bad to define who you are. Don't even allow the good to define. Find your purpose and intent and allow God to be the processor. Pay attention, be still, and know that I am God. If you be still long enough, you'll start getting the fact that those situations were only there to build you and make you stronger. Stop seeking from a word from people that you know. Stop seeking from yes people. Accept the no people. That way you can really hear where you're trying to go. With every situation, there is a cause and there is an effect. So when I talk about these things, I'm talking about I will help you, but I won't go to hell. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about situations that it appears to be one way, but on the outside, in the world, it looks a total another way. What I've learned is a lot of times you have to have a time, a place, and a space. And when you deal with time, time waits on no man. Let's deal with time. Time does not expose everything at one time. Time exposes time, and it's supposed to expose time. Places, people, and things, they can be triggers. But places, people, and things can be beautiful. I can help you, but I won't go to hell for it. You have to decipher what is real and true in your life and where you're trying to go. Let's talk about health. I will help you, but I won't go to hell for you. When we talk about health, I'm talking about the disposition. I had to come to a place in my life where I had to realize that my health was determining my outcome of my response. See, I was put in a position where people are so used to coming to Miss Tracy to be nourished or to be produced. Estrogenics. And what was happening, they didn't even realize that I was dying inside. I was dying inside because I was in pain. I had diabetes. I was dying because I was in pain. I had high blood pressure. I was dying because of pain because of my weight. I was dying because I was in pain because I had rheumatoid arthritis. I was dying in pain because they told me I had chronic inflammatory arthritis. In the meantime, I had all this mental health. My strength was deteriorating. I'm overworking. I'm overworking because I'm depressed, not because I had it going on. I utilized that to overcome my depression, but I made it even worse. So the thing that I had passion for, it became destruction because I was using it to obtain so nobody would see the fact of the things that I was dealing with or going through. And so one day I woke up and I couldn't move. The doctor told me sooner or later that I probably would, but it was the stress. I had nobody to nourish me and I had nobody to produce me. So I had to come to a conclusion where my health was more important. But what happens is, once again, the woman with the issue of blood, she made a decision. And when she made a decision that she was going to get her health and her strength back, she had to do a touch. So in this process, what I had to do was do a touch where God allowed me to rest in Him. And when I say rest in Him, I'm talking about the peace that surpasses all understanding. And when I went through that process of being nourished and produced by Him, because I wanted to be on God's branch. I mean, you know that tree that's planted. I wanted to be on that tree with God. So what I had to do, I had to recognize I had never been on a real fast. I had never really been on a true spiritual journey. Even though, yeah, I read my word. Yes, I'm all singing and doing everything. But I had never really been on a true spiritual journey. And when I realized that there were some things that was missing out of my life, and then there was still some strongholds that were attached to me. That's part of your health. So my stress was causing the effect of the high blood pressure, the diabetes, the chronic inflammatory arthritis, the rheumatoid arthritis. This was causing the effect in the business. It was causing the effect of the business because I was allowing falsehood and I was allowing people to pour into me, and as far as pour on me, not pour into me. I was letting people dictate my schedule. I was allowing people to dictate my life. I went through divorce, went through that and did not still know that I was still attached. That's dealing with your health. That's stress. It's just too much. And you get to a point and you wonder when you get sick, God is trying to sit you down and to speak to you. And you never ever want to be in that position or in that place. But God always gave me a plan. When I went through that, I had to call on people that I would least expect and say, hey, I need you. Tracy normally won't do that. Tracy would try to do it on her own. So in that process, I didn't realize that God was already opening up that floodgate for me. For one, to be healed, to be restored, to walk in His will, no matter what it looked like, no matter what people had to say. As a child, I never forget, my uncle, he came back for this, even my family. I was 2 years old, I'll never forget. I said, Mom, how did I start walking? See, it's back to that protector. See, most people would look at it as being mean. No, it's not that I'm mean. It's just that I have weird ways of doing things. I am just totally different. When it talks about being set apart, that's what I am. And guess what? I love it Either you like it or you don't. But I had to accept it. So I'm a little girl, and my uncle, he hit me. Uncle Robert, he hit me. I didn't know how to walk. But they said on that particular day, I got up. I walked over to him, and I hit him back. So they knew that I was going to be somebody different. I was always rebellious and always a rebel. It was just crazy. If you mess with my family, oh, I was going to get you. That's just how I always was. But then it came to a point where I had to sacrifice some things that I did not like. One of them was my children, the loves of my life. Once again, dealing with your health and your strength. So then it became mental in this process. Mental, oh my God, I'm losing everything that I have. Oh, she got a business, she got it going on. But the things that were so much more precious to me was my family, my children. That's my family. You know, even with their father, he's an awesome person. Family, we look at it as an individual, meaning, oh, you got this happy family. Sometimes it doesn't consist of having a spouse. Sometimes it could be you and your children. Sometimes there are single parents. I commend you all. Keep doing what you're doing. You had to be nourished and produced. At least you tried and still trying. Let's talk about how our kids get away. That's dealing with our health, our strength, and our mental. Let's talk about that one can of beans that might be in your house. That's your health, strength, and mental. Let's talk about when you don't even know what your next meal is going to be, or how you even going to buy your kids food to eat, but everybody looking at you like you got it going on. That's your health, strength, and your mental. What if you're dealing with people that you thought knew God, but they only had a form of godliness? Let's talk about hurt. People want to talk about church hurt. No, it's not church hurt. It's the people that surrounds and walk inside the doors. I don't care if that is the pastor. He has issues. She has issues. First ladies have issues. They have to be nourished and produced. Back to, I will help you, but I won't go to hell for it. What happens is sometimes we get in the way because we're trying to take ourselves. If you take the you out of it, it says yo. You, yo, Y-O-U. Yo, you. Yo, what's up? No, I couldn't stand that word. Yo, don't come to me with that. But when you put that you on it and then it's you and not yo, hey, you sometimes have to get out of the way in order not to go to hell. Because I will help you. But what do you do when you're helping someone and you're sending them to hell along with you? Let's talk about sex. Don't get me started. Sex sometimes can send you to hell. But guess what? I believe that intimacy is more important than the sex. This is where people get it twisted. I tell people, you're dealing with the principalities. You're dealing with the spirit, man. You're dealing with the soul. You don't let any and everyone up in your soul or your spirit. Things are not always what they appear to be. Sometimes you can be there to help somebody, and when you try to help somebody, what happens is the power of the tongue. Words start coming out of people's mouths that they didn't even mean, but they said it. The devil knew the plan before you even did, because people open up their mouths and they speak. I would help you, but I won't go to hell for you. You hear that? They have spoken words into existence, and then they get mad at you for speaking it. No, you spoke it. The devil grabbed hold, and he said, God, let's see, can they handle it? No, you can't handle it. That's the part that we're not getting. I will help you, but I won't go to hell for you. But what do you do when you're in people's space and place and you're helping them? And you're the one that's sending them to hell. Your relationship is sending them to hell. The way you went about doing business sent them to hell. The way you come back home and put them keys in the door is sending you to hell. The mixed messages that you speak and that you're sending is sending them to hell. Not knowing when your assignment is over with is sending them to hell, because now you're dealing with emotions. You're dealing with mentality. You're dealing with the spirit, man. And God did not intend on any of that. Now your will is being done, not God's will. Now the nourishment is gone and the production is gone. So Estrogen X is here to help. So when you go through these life circumstances in this process, if you truly love God, avoid all extremes. From time to time, I've heard people say that there were individuals that were so spiritual minded that they were no earthly good, while others condemned individuals for being so earthly minded that they were no heavenly good. Isn't that interesting? It wasn't until I paid close attention to what individuals say in conversations that I understood how people fit in those two statements. You may ask one person how they are doing, and there is always, blessed of the Lord, highly favored, too blessed to be stressed, even though there may be difficulties in their lives. On the other end, when you meet another individual, they all talk about is what they are going through. Did you meet anybody like that? Who makes them sick or negative opinions on every subject? They never mention God or show any signs that indicate a relationship with anyone, with God, or just someone special in their lives. I was about to take sides until God directed me to Ecclesiastes 7 in its entirety, that I give you the thought to ponder on and to think about. I will not write all the chapters, but I will summarize this thought by simply stating that a balanced life will keep you from thinking more of yourself than you ought to. It will also help you stop thinking of yourself than you truly are. Remember, I will help you, but I won't go to hell for you. It is good to grasp the one and not let go of the other. For man or woman who truly fears and respects God will avoid all extremes. Be sure to run with someone you know. God, yourself, and maybe your family, maybe not. I will help you, but I won't go to hell for you. So in this process of learning and growing, I have so much more I could talk to you. I just wanted to give you a snippet, and I'm not finished with this subject. Don't allow circumstances that have taken you through life to define who you are. And when I say define who you are, I'm talking about this. I'm talking about you can be bipolar, you can be schizophrenic, you can be an addict, you can be on drugs, you can be a sex addict, you can be all those things. You can be all those things, but don't let it define the outcome of who God wants you to be. Just be. Be the best that you can be. I'll help you, but I won't go to hell for you. Yes, there are some underlying statements that I have made in this subject because I'm going to go deeper, but I'm just trying to take you a little slow. You know, when I have my people up here with me. So I'm just giving you a little snippet. But in the meantime, trust God. Trust the process. Trust all that you do. You know, and going through these life circumstances, there are some things that I want you to start thinking about. I'm looking for something that I kind of wrote in my notes here. And when one of the things I talked about or thought about was when you talk about living hell, and it's a situation or a place that is extremely unpleasant. If I'm helping you, I don't want to be in a place where it's extremely unpleasant, because I ain't trying to go to hell for you. I just want to live life. Extremely pleasant is you bringing your trash, debris, and your baggage to me. I can help you, but I ain't trying to go to hell for you, because I'm going to be mad because I'm dealing with your mess. Don't bring it to me. When you bring your chaos, I'll help you, but I ain't going to hell for you. Don't let it define who you are. Deal with it. Go find counseling. Go get some help. But don't go to hell for it. And don't allow the person that's helping you to go with you. Find God, find peace, find prayer, find revelation, restoration, renewal. Sit down somewhere and listen and write. And remember the power of the tongue. It has power. So I will be because God says that I will be. I am who I am because what God says that I am, not the circumstances. Be all that you can be. Lift him up, if I be lifted up, I draw all men unto thee, me, thee. You understand what I'm saying? Trust the process. Nourishment, production. I will help you, but I ain't going to hell for you. I remember this song, and she gonna get me. Well, I ain't gonna call her name. She don't know who she is. It was a song by Natalie Cole, and it says, "I'm catching hell, living in this world." And what I tell you, I was catching hell because I got tired of listening to that song. That is not the life I wanted to be defined by. I heard it almost 7-8 times a day. I'm catching hell, I'm catching hell, I'm catching hell, living in this world. Now, I ain't catching hell. I help you, but I ain't going to hell for it. I am Tracy Carr, Trust the Process, my new podcast, Extrogenetics. I want to nourish you, and I want to help whatever I can do. Love God, love people. I'm checking out Extrogenetics.